What happens when you're diagnosed with breast cancer at age 42 while you're also running a business and just been married? Today I talk with Gaylyn Devine, a longtime patient of the Rose and a community volunteer. She found her lump, advocated for herself, and learned what it means to lean on others. We talk about how early detection shaped her whole journey and what it really means to accept help, even when you're used to being the strong one. Her connection with others has become her source of strength. I hope Gaylyn's story inspires you, and I hope you share it with someone you love because it could make a difference in their life. When you subscribe to our show, you help us grow. Someone you know may need to hear this story, so please share with your family and friends and consider supporting our mission at therose.org. Let's talk about your breast. A different kind of podcast presented to you by The Rose, a breast center of excellence and a Texas treasure. You're going to hear frank discussions about tough topics, and you're going to learn why knowing about your breast could save your life. So, Gaylyn, it seems like anything I go to in Pasadena, you're there. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to be the ultimate community volunteer, and you're just always into something, helping someone or doing some event. What do you do in your real life?
Well, I own a small business, and so we do commercial printing and promotional items, but I love volunteering and being involved in the community and helping people find their voice and empowering them in the community, because I think that's so important to give back, not just keep your talents to yourself.
Right. So when did you first know about the Rose?
Well, actually, golly, it just seems, sometimes it seems like yesterday and then it seems like so long ago, but I was adopted at birth. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
But I was very blessed. Dr. Roberts was my OB doctor in Pasadena, and I was just really nervous about not having those medical records. And so she sent me to the Rose at 40 years old to get what she called a baseline. What a blessing to have that. And so she was a big proponent of women taking care of themselves, and she was an advocate for y'all. And so that started my relationship with the work that y'all did, and how having insurance and me coming to the Rose helped other people be able to get that treatment.
You were eventually diagnosed with breast cancer.
I was.
But it wasn't right then.
No.
You had been coming to us regularly?
2 years, yeah. So I got that baseline, and back then, you really had to fight to get a mammogram at 40 years old. They're like, there's no need for that. And Dr. Roberts, along with me, advocated for the fact that I didn't have medical records, and it was important to me, even if I had to pay for it, that I wanted that peace of mind and to have that done. And so thankful that I did, because 2 years later, I'm diagnosed with breast cancer.
And we had a tiny bit of a record on you.
Yes. You had 2 years worth of records to help me navigate that.
And, that's such an important point that we forget to tell women sometimes. Because we had those 2 years, we had films on you for 2 years, we had something to compare. And, so many times, especially in a young woman, something might look a little off, but unless you're comparing it to a previous view, you don't know for sure that it is. And so that really is important. It could have been easily overlooked.
Easily.
Just because of your age.
Yeah.
Do you remember getting that diagnosis?
Yeah. I remember it like I said, sometimes it seems so long ago, and then it's just like yesterday. I can recall it all, but it was such a God thing for me. I was sitting in bed and talking to my husband. We'd been married 10 weeks. We're sitting there, just talking. Yes. And I feel this lump, and I was like, this wasn't here before. This doesn't belong here. So I didn't sleep. And for women out there, you know how long it takes us to get those appointments? Mm-hmm. Well, mine was the next day.
Wow. So
Dr. Roberts, I go in and I'm like, I know I'm here for the other thing, but this is all I care about. Check this. This is all I want to know about. She does an ultrasound, and my regular appointment was scheduled for the Rose that Friday. So I found it Tuesday night.
Oh, my
I'm
gosh.
with her on Wednesday. My regular appointment was scheduled for Friday.
Wow.
Talk about God.
Yeah.
And so I'm telling Dr. Roberts, I can't wait till Friday. I'm not going to sleep. This isn't going to happen. Mm-hmm. And she called the Rose and got me in that day. She said, she's not going to make it till Friday. You've got to see her today. I left her office and came straight to the Rose. And they took me in and were so sweet about calming me down and getting the ultrasound. And we scheduled a biopsy for the following Tuesday. I mean, everything that you could want if you're diagnosed fell into place. Everyone at the Rose was just such a blessing.
Oh, that's so good to hear.
Yeah.
But my gosh, how scary. You're so young.
Yeah.
Just married.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And once I knew that it was, and I tell women, like, you are your best advocate. You know your body better than anybody else. I mean, so as soon as I was diagnosed and we scheduled the biopsy, I made an appointment with Dr. Malillo and said, this has to come out. I don't care what the end result is. Right. This has to come out. And it was very close to my lymph nodes in my chest. And so I knew it had to come out regardless. And again, just having her in Pasadena and already having a couple of years relationship and scheduling that appointment. And you hear horror stories, for lack of better words, where people wait and they go and get second and third opinions. And I don't know if you realize, but literally in less than 2 weeks from when I was diagnosed, Dr. Malillo had done surgery and it was out.
Oh, my goodness.
It was very aggressive and it was growing rapidly. And she just took the bull by the horns and took such good care of me.
So we're not waiting on any of this.
No, we're not waiting. I advocated and she responded.
Did you have a lumpectomy?
I had a lumpectomy.
Radiation?
I had radiation. She took care of that. Dr. Yang was amazing. And then now I didn't do chemo. I didn't have the medical records at the time. You'll remember Vicki Reynolds.
Oh, yes.
Yes. She was a huge advocate for me and taught me the new vocabulary that you need to learn.
It definitely is.
Yes. And you don't know those things until you know. But mine was early stage. I was young. It was very aggressive. But at the time, the additive for the chemo, Herceptin, had only been tested on late stage over 60-year-old women. I didn't meet any of those. None of that. So I opted for no chemo, did the radiation, was a good girl. Dr. Yang was amazing. And here we are 20 years later.
Congratulations.
And I'm not saying that's for everyone. That's where advocating for yourself and knowing what you can handle in your body and praying that through and being able to live with those decisions is very important.
But I think what you said about you know your body and you felt comfortable in the decisions that were being made. You felt comfortable with your physician.
Yes.
You know, I am a firm believer that that is the key to recovery. If you have a question about your physician, anything doesn't feel right, any decisions going on, then that's the time to get another opinion. But boy, I tell you, when you do, It just seems like recovery is so much faster and easier.
It is. When you have that comfort, and also when you, one of the things that George did, I think sometimes the husbands kind of get set aside.
They get lost.
They
Absolutely.
do, because it's all about you.
Right.
And so one of the things that my husband, George, did was if you didn't have positive things to say to me, he really became a screener in my life. And so if you were someone that caused me stress or caused me anxiety, you were not allowed during all of that.
How in the world
treatment.
did he handle that?
He would just be very diplomatic in that she's not able to see anyone today. She's focusing on herself today. We're focusing on getting ready for her next treatment today. Or she's had treatments all week, so she's not, really able to have visitors or handle visitors this week. And he did that on his own. He just stepped up.
What would you call that? He was like your security.
He was.
Like, no one crosses this line.
He was my bodyguard.
I could see that in him.
Yes. Because it was so important to focus on me and to be surrounded with encouraging words and positive affirmations. And so as women, it only takes one person really to wipe out those affirmations you did all day.
Absolutely.
Right?
What is it about us that we'll focus on that negative?
Yes.
No matter what.
Yes.
Even if we have 1,000 positives.
Even if our hair looks great, that one thing. Yes. Wipes us out.
What I used to love was, you look tired today.
Oh.
I'd go, you want to slap people
You do.
like that.
You do.
It's just...
It's like, keep that stuff to yourself.
Yeah, is it going to help me today? I'm going to be on stage all day long. You're telling me I look like,
it's like, that's not energizing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, right.
Right. But he did. He just took responsibility for making sure. He says that he kind of felt like it was his duty to make sure that he didn't allow people that he could control to bring me down or to refocus, because radiation, is 5 days a week.
Absolutely. And what'd you do, 6 weeks, 8 weeks?
I did 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
8 weeks of radiation, 5 days a week. And, by, 5 weeks or so, come Wednesday, don't ask me what I want for dinner because I don't know my name, right? I'm exhausted. And so he was very perceptive to recognize those little things that people that, you could come by and bring food or, you could help, you could be engaged. But he just was very sweet about making sure that everything was positive.
It's such good advice for any husband to hear.
And it's their way they can contribute because they can't do a lot, right?
And they can't fix it.
They cannot fix it, which is their main
what
goal.
They do. Yes,
right?
Yes.
They can't fix it. They can take you to doctor's appointments. They can ease some things around the house, make some decisions instead of making you make some decisions that, like, what's for dinner? Who cares? Because
who cares?
But they can do that little thing, and I think that also restores kind of their part of their fix it. Like I'm protecting her, I'm shielding her in a way that no one else can.
Right.
And I will never forget that.
Yeah. That is a great story. Great story. I've heard a lot of good stories here about the spouse and how all that worked, but that is one that's so important. We forget that no matter what, whether it's chemo or radiation, there's an emotional cost in there. There's an emotional drain that you can't help but have. I mean, you go to the doctor twice a year and you feel kind of scared when you go, but every single day for that many weeks to be doing something that could mean the difference in your life and your death. Yeah. I mean, that's a big emotional.
It is, and it's also like that became the priority. Like, so your work schedule, even, every day, you schedule appointments or schedule things that you're doing. So for those weeks, every day at 3 p.m., drive to Dr.
Right.
Yang, have
Right.
that done. And then, the further into the treatment, I couldn't go back to work. I was exhausted.
Right.
And so I would just go home. It's like, and so I think one of the other things that we as women, we have to do it all, right? And
Where did we ever get that?
I don't
idea?
know. I don't know where
Who planted that
instilled
in
that
our minds.
somewhere.
I look back and I go, what
My
were
mom,
we thinking?
Yeah, I don't know, but you have to give yourself grace. And I think that's one thing that women, we're not good at, giving ourselves grace. It's okay to go home. So I didn't work 8 hours or 10 or 12 hours that day.
Now, did you have your business then?
Yeah.
So you being available for your own business
Yeah.
is pretty important to that client.
It is. And so that emotional or that stress we put on ourselves, it's not the customers doing it.
No.
It's us doing it to
Right.
ourselves. You leave, you go get the treatment, and then by about Wednesday of the week, the further it got in, I would just go home and take a nap, and that's it. And so then you deal with the guilt of, I didn't go back to work. Everybody else is at work. And so I think that's another lesson for women, is to give yourself grace. When you're going through these battles, you're no good to anybody else. I could go back to work, but
It wouldn't have, no.
it wouldn't have been worth
And
anything.
you wouldn't have let your best friend do it.
No.
That's when,
yeah.
what gets me sometimes. We are our best friend. We're very happy when we do something that is good for us, but we don't realize how many things we feel we have to do that we really don't.
Yeah. We feel like we're letting someone else down when at the end of the day, we're letting ourselves down. Because again, I believe in just giving ourselves that grace to take care of ourselves. And we tend to be very focused on taking care of everyone else but ourselves. And so that's one of the big lessons of having breast cancer, though I'd never wish it on anybody else. There were so many great lessons that I learned through having it that God could have taught me the other hard ways. I mean, right? Knocked me over the head a few other ways. But it also allowed me to help others with breast cancer. I don't know if you knew this, but for a short while after I was done treatment, there was a lady that moved here from South Lake, and she didn't have any family here at all. She moved here for a job. And so I would take her chocolate cake and a gallon of milk. And we became the best friends, but that got her through having to go to these treatments and not have any family here until she was strong enough to kind of take that ball and run with it herself. And so I wouldn't have met her any other way. And so I think...
and only because you'd already been there.
Been there.
Did she trust that you understood what she was going through?
Right. That saying, been there, done that, got the T-shirt. I have several of those. So, but I think that's another way that you can help yourself heal, is by pouring in what you learned into someone else who's newly diagnosed, nervous, unsure, and so I found for me that being able to pour myself into someone else and help them was very healing for me as well. And passing that on, because though our cancers were different, they're still very much the same.
Right, and that is such an important point. I mean, there's 17 different kind of breast cancers. Not all are going to respond to the same treatment.
Right.
They're all going to have different factors that will make them more aggressive or not. So that's just even a lesson to learn right there.
Yeah.
Because too often when we're trying to sympathize with someone. We go to our own experience. Well, for me, I don't know why your doctor's not having you do X, Y, Z. That's not good. You just have to say, mine was like this, yours is like this, but here's some of the things I can help you with.
Right.
So you had the lesson of the husband.
Yeah.
And how important it is to have barriers or have boundaries.
Absolutely.
You had the lesson of giving yourself that grace, of being able to go home, the lesson of knowing how you can help another and how it's healing for yourself. Any others that come to mind?
Well, I think it's important to, after I was diagnosed, the scars, they're a constant reminder. I have 4 tattoos. I'll tell you a funny story. So my daughter was in college. She was at Texas A&M when I was diagnosed, and she wanted a tattoo. And I was like, no, not under my watch. You're on my payroll. No tattoos. No, when you're out on your own, you do what you want to with your own body. And lo and behold, God's sense of humor, I have 4 tattoos, And so, after I got that, I thought, thanks so much, God, So, but those reminders...
To camouflage.
Yes, and to make sure that the mold was the exact place every time, to make sure that they were targeting exactly the same spot every time. I told her my tattoos are not like what you're wanting. Thank you very much. You don't want these 4. Right. But as I saw the scars and healed, and every time I had an appointment, I'd get very anxious, about having to go back because Dr. Melillo kept me on a very short leash, very short after surgery. And, I could first... she'd want to see me every 2 months, and then she let me go to 3 months, and then she let me go to 6 months. And I remember when I got released to not come back for a year, like that was like a celebration party, right? And so I think it's important that when we look at scars, we also look at how far we've come when you look at those. Because now, 20 years later, I can look back and those scars have brought me so far. And so just the battle scars, so to speak, of still standing strong and what happened in that time and what's happened since then, and advocating for women to get checked. There's no reason with the rose here for you to not get checked. There's absolutely no reason. And to not be fearful of any of the results, because the rose will be here with you every step of the way. I didn't need all of the steps, but I was so appreciative of friends who did need extra steps, and y'all carried them, held their hand through the whole process. And so I think women can be their own advocate, and early detection obviously is the key. And I've had friends that waited, and I wish that they wouldn't have, and they let insurance or money or this or that, keep them from coming and being treated. So,
but it's always hard to ask for help.
It is. It's hard to ask for help. Yeah. And one of the things is like, I didn't look sick, right?
That is such a good point. You don't.
Right.
No.
I didn't. Yeah. And even back then, I didn't look sick. So it would be difficult for people when I would tell them, no, I can't do that this week, or no, I can't meet that schedule, or no, we don't want to do this or that. And so I didn't look sick to people. And so knowing inside that no is an answer, and you don't have to explain the why.
How long did it take you to learn that?
It took me about 5 years, really.
Thank you.
Really,
it takes a long time.
And a lot of practice.
Yes.
A lot. It does not happen overnight, but, God tells us no all the time. We don't listen sometimes, but he does.
That's true.
And as a mom, we tell our children no. And sometimes that answer is when they say, well, why? Well, because I just said so. I mean, that intuition in us, the holy whatever you want to call that is powerful. But it took me a long time to realize that I could say no and I didn't have to explain it. And it was important to me to take care of me. And that's all hard stuff for women. Mm-hmm. It's very hard to take that on.
What do you wish you had known during that first year?
Oh, goodness. In some respects, I wish that I would have known that if I would have been more open about it publicly, I think that customers would have understood, vendors would have understood, but very private.
But Gaylyn, this was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how many women have said the same thing. My business had to survive for me to keep going.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to tell anyone, or I wasn't going to share.
Yeah.
No, I'm not even sure we've made that much progress today in our business communities.
I don't know, but that was, I had 10 employees that,
we're looking to you.
Counted on paychecks, right? So if you tell a customer, hey, I'm going to be out because I have breast cancer and I don't know what that looks like, do they take their business elsewhere, so those unknowns. So I think to a woman maybe who is just starting the process now, I do think that I would do, that's what I would do differently. Obviously we told employees, they knew, they had to know, but I think there is a way that I could have let customers know that it wasn't going to stop business or slow down business, but I needed them to understand and give me grace as well. And I think they would have. I think
we underestimate.
We do.
What another human being understands.
Yeah. And longtime customers. I mean, I think they want what's best for us too. But I think that's one of the things as women. And I think too to give your family opportunities to serve you.
That's a good point.
Because we're taking care of our family, we're taking care of our children. So give your family the opportunity. So receive those gifts. Don't say, I don't need anything. When someone reaches out and says, hey, I'm here for you. What can I do for you? And I've changed some of that in my life because everyone's going to say, no, I'm good. I'm fine. And so I take more of a proactive, when will you be home from the hospital? When will you be needing meals? And so...
Or I'm dropping this off, so is there any reason I cannot drop it off? Right.
Not permission.
No permission, right.
Right. So
because people cannot think. Your mind's on 100 other things, and yet someone told me someone who would take her dog out to walk was the best gift because she just didn't have the energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so just, but allowing your family, to do that and do for you what you've done for them. Allow your neighbors, tell your close neighbors so that they can get the mail or just little, if they see packages on the porch for you, know. So just allowing, you don't have to allow everyone into your circle, but when people ask, how can I help? What can I do for you?
Have your list
Give
ready.
them something to do.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Have a list. Yeah. Oh, I hadn't been to the dry cleaners in 2 weeks. Would you mind doing that? Give them something to do because the blessing is twofold. They are blessed because they got to help you, and you're blessed because you allowed them. And you kind of cut that off by saying, no, I'm good. It's any task.
You threw away their gift, their offer of this gift.
Right.
Yes.
Their opportunity to be a blessing and to be blessed. So that's what I would tell anyone going through it. Now, in anything, not just breast cancer, any type of treatments like that where you need some help, allow people, especially when they ask, allow them in.
Were you ever worried about your daughter?
Yes and no. she was at college. She came home, for all the treatments, and she was like, "I'm just going to quit college." I was like, "No, you're not. This too shall pass. This is all going to be fine." But one of the things that Dr. Roberts, again, intervened for us is she got the Brock gene testing done for us, and she made insurance cover it.
Good for her.
20 years ago.
20 years ago, that was a biggie.
That was huge. And so that helped put us to rest. Mine was a protein-based cancer, so wasn't estrogen-based. And so that kind of put some fears to rest on that. She graduated college, and so actually she's expecting a baby at the end of this month.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
You must be so excited.
I am.
And imagine 20 years ago, you may not have thought you'd be here.
Right. Yes. All very scary. I remember when they gave me the results, from the biopsy, and I'm in the room, and she's giving me all the legal terms. I was like, "You can stop. I haven't heard a word you said since you said this, you're right. So if you'll make copies of all of that for my mother, she will do all that research stuff." And they did, and I took all that to my mom and said, "Here, here's our worst fears, but here, you dissect all that stuff. I'm going to go get treatment." Yeah.
How much did your faith carry you through?
Immensely, a lot. I couldn't have done it without leaning into that. Church was an amazing resource, meals, all the things that, pray, they just getting a message, "I'm praying for you today." Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great.
Well, you have really beat the odds. For one thing, 40 years old, 42 years old, and finding cancer the way you did.
Yeah.
All the things you've showed us and talked about, the God things. Any parting words of advice for a woman who's just discovered that she has this?
Well, I could tell her not to be afraid. That wouldn't be true. So probably I would just, I think back when I knew, and again, your body yourself. So I knew, you have to go through the biopsy and you have to go through the diet, but I knew. And once I found it, and then once we did that, I just knew. And so I think it's okay to be afraid. It's okay. Mm-hmm. It's okay to be afraid. I think acknowledge that, it's okay. It will make you stronger. It absolutely will. But don't pretend like you're not okay. Don't pretend like you're not afraid. And so I think that's important, that for me, it's like, I knew it was, but I've got to be strong. I own a business and I've got employees and I'm newly married and I've got a child at college. I've got to be in, and I wasn't any of those things. I was broken, and so I think just be real. Just be real. Just talk to your husband, your children, talk to them about how you're really feeling. Mm-hmm. And that changes moment by moment, hour by hour, day by day, before treatment, after treatment. Right. But I think there's a lot of power in authenticity of how absolutely. You're feeling.
They can't read your mind.
They cannot. Yet we so expect that to happen. Yes. But I think that's what I would tell someone today. Just be authentic. It's okay. It's okay to be angry. It's it's okay. All of those emotions that you're feeling are perfectly normal. Just acknowledge them, run with them, and find if you're a single mom or you're unmarried, find a very core group, small group that will allow you to do that, to be authentic and to have those emotions, and kind of like a no judgment zone. Right. That you can do all of that, because that's part of the healing process too.
Yes. Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. And so, that's a great descriptor.
Yes. Yeah, it's part of the healing process to do all of those emotions, and then allow your experience to help someone else. Mm-hmm. Don't keep it to yourself. Mm-hmm. Allow that. And I think that goes full circle back to your first question. That's why it's so important for me to be engaged and help other people, because I've been given so much.
Oh, great story. Great stories, Gaylyn. Thank you so much for being with us today and for being so honest and open. We need to hear that.
Yeah. So thank you for inviting me. It's
absolutely,
seeing you, that was just kind of a divine moment, 20
Another
years.
God thing.
It is.
Yes.
And 20 years cancer-free is very powerful. And we're celebrating all year. Like it's
absolutely, you should.
All year long.
Yeah. All right. We're celebrating with you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on Let's Talk About Your Breasts. This podcast is produced by Speak Podcasting and brought to you by The Rose. Visit therose.org to learn more about our organization. Subscribe to our podcast, share episodes with friends, and join the conversation on social media using hashtag Let's Talk About Your Breasts. We welcome your feedback and suggestions. Consider supporting The Rose. Your gift can make the difference to a person in need. And remember, self-care is not selfish. It's essential.